Hi guys, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions. In this video we're going to be looking at Season 4 of Alliance Quest and the kind of changes that you'll see from the current state of affairs to what we're going to be experiencing with Dormammu's Dominion. So a lot of things are changing from the way that the map looks in certain maps. In particular, maps 4 and 5 do get a lot of changes, especially to their tuning of difficulty, which I do like and do think is quite good. Unfortunately, it depends on the bracket system. The way that the bracket system works now, it does mean that obviously you will then get promoted. The promoted tier does mean that then things become a little bit more difficult. However, that is all going to change in this season moving forward, and I'll explain a bit further about that as we go into the video. The major changes to maps 2 and 5 will mean that you'll see a selection of random bosses, which I do think is quite exciting. It does mean you have to diversify the type of champions you use, because you may find that the buffs against certain champions are going to make it, well, all very exciting, but it could mean a little bit challenging for certain alliances, which I think in some ways will then separate out and segregate out to these 3 new tiers. Yes, that's right, there's 3 brackets for players' alliances to go into. Those are the Expert bracket, which will contain 3,500 alliances, the Advanced bracket, which will contain 7,500 alliances, and the Normal bracket, well, that's everybody else. These brackets come with their own rewards. I think the easiest way to kind of describe how this will work, and I'm hoping that the things translate to how I'm going to kind of describe it at the moment. So for example, my alliance gets each week that we do alliance about 96 million points. So that puts us in a certain kind of like point for certain things. The next point about where your alliance is likely to be fielded into of the 3 is difficult at the moment. If you think that you're a strong alliance, so you're talking like the MMIVs, but the top alliances are going to be obviously in the Expert bracket. Where things become a little bit difficult for, I'd say, aspiring alliances that want to get into this Expert bracket, where they thought that maybe they were safe for a more kind of higher up kind of point. Again, very hard to kind of gauge. I would hope that my alliance is within this top bracket here, this 1 to 700, the 575 Glory coming back, and 25,000 tier 4 basic fragments. That is my hope. It's kind of a guessing game. It is a guessing game of where your alliance is going to be put, and you shouldn't feel discouraged, because then it's something to then work towards. I know Kabam have said that, you know, don't be discouraged, because there's other aspects of this alliance questing which are going to really benefit for you regardless of where you are in what different bracket. I do unfortunately foresee a lot of alliance jumping, which is a bit disappointing, because I do believe in staying with an alliance up until the point you get a whole kind of like 30 members around the same idea to kind of boost up and get higher. And to give you an idea, I'm kind of a good example of that. I started off going in an alliance when it was just 2 million. We are now approaching the 8 million mark, so it's all possible to do. You've just got to work hard at it and work with a good alliance. If, however, your alliance is not working with you and you feel like they're working against you, then and only then is it applicable to then show that you need to go elsewhere to kind of pursue a kind of a further point in your career with Marvel Contest of Champions. A lot of you may have just seen in that little segment items about glory, and the question is, what is glory? Glory is something that is used as a kind of an extra point to like battle chips or like loyalty. You use it in a kind of a store function, the way that you just buy things, except the way that glory is used in the store, you're kind of punished to a degree for the more you purchase of each item. So the items in the store look a bit like this. They have an 8-day reset timer on certain things, but not on lots. I'm a bit disappointed not to see revives in there, but we'll touch on my frustrations with that a little bit later on. As you can see, you can get so many different like helpful things to kind of help you rank up your champions and get them up to that real kind of like pristine helping level. As in tier 4 basics, something that, you know, is great to see you can purchase somewhere for tier 4 basics. So helpful. Unfortunately though, it does come with a price if you purchase too many. And you've got other things with regards to tier 4 class kind of like catalyst like fragments. I think these are associated to be the greater glory crystals, and the 10% is the standard one, and then the greater glory is attached to that. But the price is quite steep, which is kind of odd, because if you look at the kind of facts, if 10% of a tier 4 class catalyst is going to be 500 for one purchase, and you purchase 2, which, you know, is in 20%. Surely it should be that if that's 20%, so that's like that's 1,050 glory, and then that is at the same price. You make a saving by getting more of those by doing that. I think I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to wait until it kind of reaches that we reach the store, or get the store to just really kind of have a look at that and just double check that. But that seems like a more of a value thing to get more of those purchased than it would be to get one of those. Again, don't know how that that particularly works, if the percentages are right or correct in any case. Bit frustrating with regards to the purchase of tier 4 basic. But however, though, this is a fantastic thing, a fantastic kind of addition. I think we need in future like a battle chips like store where we can just purchase stuff. That would be really good. But this is still a really positive step in the right direction. I think the next stage is for you to understand how much glory you potentially will get weekly, and then kind of finding out, well, what can I actually buy with that glory? If everything transfers over correctly for this statistic that I'm going to hammer off to be correct, our alliance, or my alliance, achieves 96 million points a week in Alliance Quest. Not up there as being the most amazing, but still I'm happy to kind of like work for an amazing alliance. Your alliance will probably achieve a similar, or kind of a lot lower or a lot higher. Take that number in your mind, because what you'll be doing is you'll then be attributing it to, well, how much glory I get. So against this, my calculations here, 90 million. Obviously we're not up to 100 million, but up to 90 million there. I was able to get from that 1,350 glory. For the completion of the week, it then adds a 575 onto it. So my weekly potential weekly earnings on glory would be 1,925. I've kind of given myself a little bit of, on our alliance, a little bit of a kind of a boost, and I've said that we would be advanced bracket and would be between 1 and 700 at a rank, getting those fragments there, the 25,000 fragments, the 575 glory added on to the amount that we've got here, which would be grand total, like I said, 1,925 glory. Going to the store, what could I purchase theoretically from that? Well, tier 4 basic would have to be the one that I'd have to go for. I could purchase another one of the 10% tier 4 class catalyst or glory crystal, and that would be it. I wouldn't be able to buy any more. I mean, I could buy some other kind of health potions and things like that, but I would probably see more value in saving it up and then maybe getting another tier 4 basic for, you know, the next week, kind of like hoarding the glory and then purchasing more tier 4 basics, because that's what I really need at the moment. One added little bonus is Conqueror rewards. So if your alliance manages to down the boss, you will get some fragments or some gold depending on what level you are. So at the moment our alliance does map 5, so we get 400 tier 4 basic catalyst fragments, obviously times 5 for the amount of times that we do alliance quest. So that's 2,000 a week, plus the amount that we would potentially get from the 1 to 700 rank, provided, you know, saying that we were at that rank, then, you know, there would be a good earning. It would be 27,000 fragments a week. Not totally amazing, but coupled with the fact that we'll be able to get something from the glory store, hey, that's good. And it wouldn't be a Dormammu boss event without Dormammu being the boss. However, though, his signature ability has not been activated, which is great because, you know, it's a bit of killer to face off against him. I have a Dormammu at 5-star. I'm very happy to have him, and he can be a real pest. We did put him in Alliance Wars, and he did quite well. He did 3 kills, so he's effective. They put them on a node which, you know, I'm not 100% sure that I would have kind of like put him on. I did put him on a node which I thought he would be a bit of a pain in the ass. But I suppose if you put him in a different point, he would be more kind of killer, having those nodes and bonuses on. Now, what he'll get in as an end boss, it's hard to really kind of like say at the moment, because again, very early stages. We only really will know next week what kind of buffs he get. He has been kind of made to be difficult, and that's a quote by Kabam himself, to be difficult. So are we going to expect some amazing buffs? Now, power gain, because you know, if he's got a kind of like extensive amount of power gain, it can be a bit annoying, especially if you get hit by the L3 or obviously the L2. L3, oh, you know, that's not particularly great in any case. And an event of season 4 wouldn't be complete with a new boss, and this boss is Dormammu. I have a Dormammu myself. He is very good at taking power, so don't get hit, otherwise you're going to lose your power and you won't be able to do any specials. If they keep him in the kind of confines of not giving him so many buffs, then he's not going to be as effective, and you're going to find characters like Magic just absolutely obliterating him, as well as other decent characters. Unfortunately, obviously, he has a lot of immunities, but the fact is he's still not 100% amazing. That minus 10% on energy resistance, sorry, physical resistance, does make him a lot weaker. So I wonder if they're going to buff him a lot, and obviously give him those crazy bonuses for anything, power gain, right the way through to armor. You know, something that's going to make him a little bit more difficult, as they put it. They do put it here, difficult. But only time will tell. Hopefully next week we'll get an idea, and we'll kind of come up with some ideas in order to bypass some of his moves. And obviously, a lot of people are just going to go, well, I use Magic for everything because she's so good. So that may be the answer we're all looking for. Or even Star-Lord, because people seem to put on my videos, I use Magic and I use Star-Lord. That's good. Not everybody has them, though. One good bit of news coming our way is the reduced cost of Maps 5 and Map 4. Map 5 in particular is a big bugbear of mine when it comes to battle chips. I try and balance my Marvel Contest of Champions grind and my YouTube kind of career, as I do it a lot in the evenings after work. As most people do, they don't have enough time to do so much arena, and the returns of battle chips isn't really kind of sufficient enough to kind of invest all of it into your kind of coffers of the treasury of your alliance. So the reduced cost is really helpful. It does mean that my 42,000 battle chip donation cost a week will now go down to a smaller 30k, which is great. It means that I can then take the extra amount of battle chips I get back and not really kind of worry that I have to put in quite so much and kind of retain a lot more for myself. I have a couple of reservations on a positive change, which it is. The first one is the milestone rewards. Not seeing revives in there and health potions kind of mean that it is a change in direction. The resources, in kind of a roundabout way, don't seem to be then returned back to the player. So obviously we were seeing those lower map crystals, which were then kind of getting us those extra little resources, which were great. If you made a mistaken alliance quest, then it meant that you had one of those revives from one of the milestone hit points, and also then you've hit a point with you know, a certain milestone to get some health potions. It just means if you're taking out of those from those milestone rewards, then they need to be then put back into the glory store. And obviously you see, yes, they are in there, which is excellent. However, the revives aren't in there, and the revives, that's the thing. If Kabam are kind of like pushing us in a direction to kind of buy revives, then that ain't cool, man. That ain't cool at all. The other thing that's a bit of a reservation for me is the extent of bracketing. Yeah, okay, I do agree in that kind of split between the three. However, though, there is going to be a lot of alliances that will be disappointed in the fact that only 300 alliances can get a snifter at a tier 4 class catalyst. Yes, the argument is, okay, there's the greater glory crystals and the glory crystals, which mean that people will be able to get back some sort of class catalyst in some ways. But the same thing could be applied for the factors of having fragment crystals, because that's another thing. We used to get fragment crystals as a result. I really hope that Kabam have 100% put down what we're going to be getting, because they do make mention that they haven't properly kind of decided certain information, and nothing's really kind of 100% crystal clear. The other kind of minor reservation is the clear information of the 10% tier 4 CC or Class Catalyst, Glory Crystal, whatever it's going to be called. The fact that if you get 500 there and 550 there, then that's 1,050, which then is 20% of it. That's equivalent to 20%. And then you've got 20% is 1,500, so that's an increase of 450, like an unnecessary 450 of glory being spent. So information needs to be clear when given to us. But mainly, a lot of these changes are really positive. The battle chip cost, the new fun kind of ways that the bosses are going to be done with regards to randomness, I like that. I think it's great. We've got a new boss to kind of go against in Dormammu. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We've got the Glory Store. The Glory Store is going to be an element that is allowing us, as Kabam said, to get in control of our rank ups and also our development and kind of evolution in the game. I myself will probably kind of structure myself around getting a 10% tier 4 class catalyst or glory crystal, whatever it's going to be called, and a tier 4 basic each week based on a small spend. Anything that kind of rolls over, so to speak, with glory will then just be spent on stuff as I need it. But at the moment, my demand and kind of my structure of the game is to be getting more tier 4 basics in order to get some rank ups. I've got class catalysts, tier 4 class catalysts that need to kind of get my champions up. It's something that I really desperately need. Season 4, if you have any questions, then please put them in the comment section. Maybe you've got an opinion on Season 4. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts? Love to hear from you in the comment section. Catch me on social media, link is in the description below. Appreciate you watching my video, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. And don't forget to subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions content. Bye bye for now.